Good afternoon, everyone. Let me ask you few questions. Okay, I think already this is a lunch time, right? So let me guess, what did you have? Okay, you have different types of food, right? Okay, you may be having rice, dal, curry. Okay, along with desserts, fruit salad, some sort of sweets, right? Or some people may be having biryanis, chicken biryani, veg biryani. Yes or no? So can you guess today's our topic, what we are going to deal with? Yeah, you are right. That is, today our topic is our food. Okay. So our topic is our food. So in this session, let me tell you what are the different subtopics we are going to tell, or you can even say what are the objectives which we learn in this session. Okay. The first one is we are going to know like what is the definition of food, right? Definition of food. After that you are going to see classification of food components. Okay, what are the different classifications of food components based on what they are categorized into different categories, and what is the use of these food components. Okay, and the third one is regarding balanced diet, which is a very important topic and which is a very current topic. Actually, it is a current topic, right? And after balanced diet, you are going to see about junk food. Most of the children like junk food, right? So a few points regarding the junk food, and we are going to see difference between balanced diet and junk food. That is, difference between healthy food and the junk food. Okay, and after this you are going to learn few good habits which you need to practice in your daily life. Already you may be practicing, but a little focus on the good food habits. Okay, now first we will see the definition of food. Okay, what is food? You may say whatever we eat, that is our food, right? Yeah, it's not like whatever we eat, there should be some cause or some reason why we are eating that. Okay, so let me tell you the general definition of food. Got it? So coming to the general definition of food: any nourishing substance that is eaten, drunk, or otherwise taken into the body, which is used to sustain life, to promote growth, and to provide energy to do our daily work, is known as food. That is, any nourishing substance means it need to support the body life activities, that is the life processes. Okay, it need to give the energy to do the overall work and well-being of the organism. That is known as food. Okay, so any nourishing substance which supports all the biological process is known as food. Got it? Next, coming to the food components. Okay, now you may be eating different varieties of food, right? Let me tell you what are the different food components. First, prior going to the classification of food components, you need to first know what are food components, what is the definition of food components, right? So food components, so coming to food components, the essential nutrients, okay, the essential substances which promote the growth and development of an organism from the food are known as food components. It doesn't mean that you eat only healthy food, right? You will be eating whatever you get, right? Like chips, french fries, rice, dal, fruits. So out of all these varieties of food, what are known as food components or food nutrients? Only the essential things of the food which support the growth and maintenance of an organism are known as food components or food nutrients, right? So in this also there are different classifications. So let us go one by one and the reasons why they are classified into these types. and we'll go in detail each and every food component, right? So you got the definition of food components, right? Only the things which are essential for our life. If we take that type of food, then we can say that we are having good nutrients, we are taking good nutrients, we are taking food components in our diet. Okay, coming to the classifications of food components. Okay, so depending on the role in the body, okay, depending on the what role the food components play in our body, they are classified into different types. Okay, the first classification is based on the role of food components in our body. Okay, the first one is, okay, in this the first one is energy giving foods. What they are? Energy giving foods. Okay, the first classification is energy giving foods. So under energy giving foods, what type of food components come under this category? So for this we can say, you can see in that word itself, they are energy giving, means they give the energy to the body to do our work. Okay, so what components come under energy giving foods? That is especially carbohydrates and fats. So carbohydrates and fats come under energy giving foods. Got it? And second type is body building foods. Okay, the second type is body building foods. So body building means they are useful for the good physique, development of good body, like good posture, like you can see in the Bahubali, right? Rana and Prabhas will maintain good body, right? That is because they intake lot of proteins in them, okay, in the diet, which maintain a good physique. Okay, so this body building foods, okay, are given by the proteins. The proteins are helpful for the body building, so they come under this category. Got it? And the third one is protective foods. Okay, the third one is protective foods. Protective foods in the sense they give protection, they give immunity, they give resistance to fight against various diseases, right? So that resistance is developed by taking these type of foods. So what come under protective giving foods or protection foods? Vitamins and minerals. So vitamins and minerals help us to gain the resistance and be healthy. Okay, so once again we will go through this classification. Okay, depending on the role in the body, the food components are categorized as follows. The first one is energy giving foods, and in energy giving foods they give the energy like carbohydrates and fats. The second one is body building foods, that is proteins come under this category. And last but not the least, that is protective foods. Vitamins and minerals play a major role in protecting our body, that is giving resistance power to fight against various diseases. Okay, this is one type of classification of food components, and we'll see the other type. Coming to the next type of classification of food components. In this, depending upon the quantity, that is how much you intake, that is how much you take in your diet, depending upon that quantity, the food components are classified as: one is macronutrients. Okay, one is macronutrients. The second one is micronutrients. So got it? Depending upon the quantity of intake, how much you take in your diet, depending upon this quantity, the food components are classified into one is macronutrients. Macro itself indicate you take a lot, that is you take a large proportion of these components. Got it? So what are the examples for macronutrients? Just now we have seen carbohydrates, fats and proteins do come under this category. Okay. For this, carbohydrates, fats and proteins come under macronutrients because you take a lot of these in your diet. Got it? And next coming to the other part, that is micronutrients. Micro itself indicates very less quantity is needed for your body. Okay, very less amount of these nutrients are needed for your body. It doesn't mean that they are not important. Even though they are taken in very minute quantities or less quantity, they are essential for well-being of an organism. So what comes under micronutrients? So vitamins and minerals play a very important role in the micronutrients, and they play a very good role in our body to maintain a very healthy life. Otherwise you may think, even though if they are of less quantity, they are not needed, why should we take them? No, they are very useful for maintaining many biological reactions. So even they are taken less, they are required very in minute amounts to our body, but they play a very major role. Got it? So this is the second type of classification. Okay. Once again I am repeating, depending on the quantity, the food components are classified into two types. One is macronutrients. Under macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, fat come under this category, and we take a lot of these foods. That's why they are considered as macronutrients. Next, coming to the micronutrients, as they are needed in very less quantity to our body, that's why they are called micronutrients. For example, vitamins and minerals. Got it? And coming to the next classification, just now we have seen the food components classification based on their role in the body. The second one based on the quantity. And third, we are going to see the general classification of the food components. Okay. The last one is general classification of the food components. So, coming to the general classification of the food components, in this first we will be learning about the carbohydrates. Okay, the first one is carbohydrates. The first category is carbohydrates. So first we will see what are the sources of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are present in cereals like rice, wheat. Okay, they are also present in bread, honey, jam, jellies. Okay, so almost they are known as sugars. The other name for carbohydrates is sugars. Okay, so these are the sources of carbohydrates. Just now what I told, like rice, wheat, bread, potato, sweet potato, honey, all these are the sources of carbohydrates. Next, what is the chemical composition of these carbohydrates? With what they are made up of? Carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms. Got it? They are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms. What is the use of these carbohydrates? These are useful to generate energy. Okay, they are broken down to simpler molecules and they generate the energy which is useful for our regular routine works to do. So they are useful to generate energy. Got it? So these are about carbohydrates. Now let me show you one sample of carbohydrates, that is rice. So here you can see the rice and it is rich in carbohydrates. And since being it is our staple food, everyone will have rice in their meals, right? So everyone will have it. So this is an example for carbohydrate. Next, coming to the other food component, that is fats. The next food component is fats. Where are these fats present? Fats are present in animal origin as well as in plant origin products, right? So what are the plant origin products? Like what you use oil for cooking, that is edible oil for cooking. Like your mother uses groundnut oil, sunflower oil. So in all these oils fat is present, right? So where in which animal products does this fat contain, or where this is present? In animal products such as milk, meat, eggs, they are very rich in, and even fish. Okay, the animal products are rich in than that of the plant products, we can say. Got it? So in all these products like milk, meat, eggs and fish, good amount of is present. Okay, so what are the chemical components present in this fat? So what are present in these fats? So as we have seen for carbohydrates like carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, the same carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms are present in fats. What is the use of these fats in our body? Why are we taking all these oils and ghee, fish, and every day we drink milk, right? And regularly we eat egg. So why are we taking all this fats? Fats are used to provide double the amount of energy. Fats are used to provide double the amount of energy. Okay, once again I am telling, fats are present in both plant and animal origin. Plant origin like oils, animal origin like milk, meat, little bit. Okay, and I can show you they are useful for giving double the amount of energy. Like I can show you where the fats are present. One common example is we use in our diet, that is ghee. Like everyone will use ghee, right? It's good for having fats in our diet. And third, coming to proteins. Proteins are one more food component, and they are present in as well as plant and animal products. Plant products like soya bean, pulses, okay, soya bean, pulses, and most of the pulses you eat, red gram, green gram, black gram. In all these the proteins are present. And of animal origin, you can have even even in milk you have, even in egg yolk you have good amount of, and even in other meat products you have the proteins are present in pulses. Okay, proteins are present in most of the pulses, soya bean, and animal products like fish, milk and meat. Got it? So what are the uses of these proteins? Proteins are used for body building. Just now I have told you, depending on the role in the body, they are used as body building foods. So they are used for body building purpose. Got it? And they are also used for growing children. So growing children should take lot of proteins, okay, for their growth and development. So this is regarding carbohydrates, fats and proteins. And next we will see about vitamins and minerals. Next, coming to vitamins. Vitamins are present in sources like fruits and vegetables. Okay, they are present in most of the fruits and also leafy vegetables. Got it? And even though they are taken less in diet, they come under the micronutrients, right? But even though they are taken less in diet, they are useful for the growth and metabolism of an organism. They are useful for growth and metabolism of the organism, right? So you can see these fruits. In all these fruits, the vitamins and minerals are present and they are useful for growth and metabolism. And coming to the vitamins, vitamins are generally classified into fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. Coming to fat soluble vitamins, vitamins A, D, E, K come under fat soluble. Vitamin B and C come under water soluble. So these all are required for the growth and metabolism of an organism. Got it? Next, the next topic is minerals. So coming to the next session, that is minerals. And just now I had told you fruits and vegetables are good sources of vitamins. In the same way, they are also the good sources for the minerals. Okay, for this minerals you need to eat lot of fruits and lot of vegetables in the form of salad. Okay, and human body contains nearly 50 minerals. How much? 50 types of minerals like calcium, magnesium, selenium, zinc, phosphorus, potassium. So in this way, nearly 50 minerals are present in human body. Got it? So what are the uses of these minerals? They are also useful for growth and metabolism of an organism. So for proper growth and proper life processes or proper overall well-being of the organism, these are also required. Got it? And next, coming to the roughages. So you might be asking, what are these roughages? Roughages are nothing but these are also a type of carbohydrates. Okay, these are fibers. These are fibrous food and these are also carbohydrates. And they are of plant origin and they come only from the plants. Where are they present? They are present in sources like cabbage, peas, beans, many types of leafy vegetables and also in fruits like oranges where you can find the pulp, right? So those are nothing but fibers. Okay, those are the roughages. So wherever you find this fibrous material in the fruits and the vegetables, they are nothing but the roughages and they are of plant origin and they are not digested by our body. So you may be asking one question, if they are not digested by our body, why we have to take roughages in our diet? What is the use? So even though they are not digested by the body, they absorb the water. Okay, these roughages are the fibrous materials or fibers which absorb the water in the intestine and they help in easy movement of the digested food in the intestine. Okay, so they add weight to the digested food and help in easy bowel movement. In this way, they help in digestion. They help in digestion of the food and they help to for the people who are not taking these fibrous food in their diet, they will be suffering from constipation. So you need to take more fibrous materials or more roughages in your diet. So these roughages help to avoid constipation and help in easy digestion of the food. Got it? And next, coming to water. Water even though we can live without food for 2 to 3 days, or depending on the person age and his resistance, but can we live without water? No, we cannot live without water, right? So we cannot live without water, so we need to take water. This is the only mineral which doesn't give energy. Okay, water is the only mineral which doesn't give energy. So when it doesn't give energy, why we have to drink water? What is the use of water? So actually water is known as universal solvent, right? It has the capacity to dissolve many substances. That's why it is called universal solvent. So even in our body there are many substances, that's why they have to be dissolved in our body. So these are called, once you see here, the different food components are present. So water being universal solvent, okay, it dissolves many substances, right? So it dissolves many substances, that's why it acts as a transport medium for various substances in our body. Got it? And it helps in the easy digestion of food materials. It helps in the removal of waste materials, toxic substances from the body. That is, toxic substances from our body which are of no use, which are poisonous to our body. So that is removed by the water in the form of sweat or by other means, right? And water is used to maintain body temperature. Water is used to maintain a body temperature. Like we are human beings, right? Our normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius or 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. So this temperature is maintained by water. That is osmotic balance. Osmotic balance in the body is maintained by the water. So we need to take at least 2 to 3 liters of water per day. Minimum 2 to 3 liters of water per day. Got it? So this is a general classification of food components. So in this food pyramid, you can see at the bottom of the food pyramid, you can see the carbohydrates like bread, rice, all these food materials, right? Grains, they are a part of the carbohydrates. And next you can see vegetables and fruits. These are good sources of vitamins, minerals and refuges. And next, coming to the milk products, okay, they are good sources for proteins and fats. And here you can see meat, fish, egg, which contain good enough proteins. And last but not the least, the fats, okay, these are the fats, oils. These are the sources for generating the energy, double the amount of energy than the carbohydrates. Okay. So by this we completed the classification of food components. Next we will see what is a balanced diet. What is balanced diet? The diet which contains all necessary nutrients in the required proportions. Okay, just now we dealt different types of food components, right? So if our diet contains all of these food components, all of these essential food components in proper proportion in our diet, then it is known as balanced diet. Got it? So a diet which contains all the food components which are essential to our body in proper proportion is known as balanced diet. So you can have a look at this picture. So this is a balanced diet. You have here rice, chapati, okay. These are a part of carbohydrates, and here you can see pulses and beans. these are a part of proteins, and here you can see dairy products, these are part of proteins and fats, fruits and vegetables which are rich in vitamins and minerals, and also the phages. So if you take in your food all these components, then it is known as balanced diet. Let me show you a simple balanced diet here. So if you take carbohydrates, okay, next proteins, and fats like in the form of ghee or oil, little bit of ghee or oil, along with fruits, okay, along with the fruits, then this is known as a balanced diet. Okay, this is known as balanced diet. Yes or no? Here you are having carbohydrates in the form of rice, and the pulses cover the protein part, the ghee gives the fat content, and the fruits will provide vitamins and minerals. So this is a complete balanced diet. It's an example for. Got it? Next, our favorite junk food. So from children to old age people, everyone want to eat tasty food, right? So most of us will be preferring junk food, maybe pizza, maybe burger, maybe fried chicken, maybe french fries, cool drinks, ice creams, whatever it may be. So everyone like junk food, right? But is it healthy to take a junk food? No, because junk food has no nutritional value. It doesn't have any nutritional value. That's why it's waste of taking a junk food. Got it? So the food which doesn't have any nutritional value is known as junk food. Got it? So here you can see a picture of junk food. Next, healthy food versus junk food. So already we have seen balanced diet, already we have seen junk food. So let us discuss few points regarding healthy food versus junk food. Here in this picture you can see healthy food like all vegetables, fruits, right? And the other part you can see all cool drinks, cookies, french fries, burger, candies. Okay, so what is the difference? You can see, even though healthy food looks simple, but it provides nutrients in such a way that the body of an organism is well versed, right? It is useful for growth and development. It is useful to maintain all life processes in a smooth way, to run all the life processes in a very smooth way. So healthy food is needed. Whereas junk food, it is tasty to eat, but in mean course of time what happens, you will be developing diseases like diabetes, sugar, memory loss, okay, and your digestive system will be disturbed. So please avoid junk food as far as possible and go for healthy food. Next topic is malnutrition. Okay, so what is this malnutrition? If any person take a diet which is missing in any of the nutrients, at least one nutrient is missing or more than one nutrient, then the person will be suffering from malnutrition. Okay, that is, just now we have learned so many things regarding balanced diet, food components. Okay, if the essential nutrients are missing in the diet, maybe one or more than one, then the diet, if the person takes such type of diet which is deficient in one or more than one type of nutrient, then it is known as malnutrition. Okay, so you can see some diseases regarding malnutrition. Here is a slide. In this picture you can see a child is suffering from malnutrition, that is undernutrition. So what is the reason from what deficient he is suffering from the malnutrition is? This is protein deficiency. The malnutrition is because of protein deficiency, and the protein deficiency diet leads to a disease called kwashiorkor. Okay, the protein deficiency diet leads to a malnutrition known as kwashiorkor, and you can see in most of the African countries this disease. So this disease is mostly reported in the African countries. Here you can see the child, right? What are the symptoms of kwashiorkor? What happens if the child is given alternate food for the proteins? If the child is given alternate food instead of proteins, then the person will be suffering from the kwashiorkor. And in this picture you can see the child, okay, his belly is protruding, okay, his belly is protruding, and here he is also suffering from kwashiorkor disease, because of which you can see few symptoms of the disease, that is the belly is protruding and the liver is also enlarged. Okay, the symptoms of kwashiorkor are belly is protruding, the liver is enlarged, and you can see his face and legs are swollen because of the fluids accumulation. This condition is known as edema. Okay, because of fluid accumulation in the face and in the legs, you can see swollen condition which is known as edema, and the skin will be scaly and the child will be suffering from diarrhea. So these are all the symptoms of kwashiorkor. And coming to the next disease, this is also a disease because of undernutrition, especially the child is deficient of proteins and calories. Proteins and calories in the sense the person is not taking diet having protein food, carbohydrates and fats. So all these are missing in his diet. As a result of this, it leads to a disease called marasmus. And you can see such cases mostly in African countries, Latin America and South Asian countries, that is mostly the developing countries. You can see this condition. And here you can see the child, you can see his ribs, right, and his limbs are very thin, his face is very thin. Why actually this occurs? If the mother gives immediate childbirth after one child, so she cannot feed the first baby with enough breast milk. As a result of that, it leads to marasmus condition in the first child. Okay, so he is a displaced child and he is given some food other than this protein and carbohydrates and fats, which are much more present in the mother's milk. Okay, so what are the symptoms of this marasmus? What are the symptoms of marasmus? Means the child will be very thin and his limbs will be very thin, the skin will be loose and it will be almost folded, and there is a retardation in both physical and mental growth. There is a retardation in both physical and mental growth. So these are all the symptoms of marasmus, the person suffering from the marasmus. And the last one is the overnutrition. First two, that is kwashiorkor and marasmus, are due to undernutrition, and here this case is because of overnutrition, that is obesity. Means the child is having food which is more than the required quantity. So he is having the nutrients or the food which is more than the required quantities to his body. How much he want, that much he should take. No, he is continuously from morning to night going on eating some food or the other, like chocolate, chips or something or the other, sitting in a sofa watching TV or something else. If he eats continuously, what happens? It leads to obese condition. You can see this obesity condition in one place called Nauru. Nauru is the third smallest country. It is a coral island. Okay, in this country you can see more than 60% of the cases, more than 60% of the people are suffering from obesity. So what are the symptoms of obesity? Obesity means generally you can see from this picture that overweight. As a result of overweight, they cannot do any work properly. It's very difficult for them to perform their normal routine task. And there will be heavy breathing, snoring, profuse sweating, and in mean course of time, the obese people will be suffering from diabetes, okay, and cardiovascular diseases, renal diseases, gallbladder diseases. So they are a hub of diseases. So the obesity condition is due to overeating, okay, and this condition you can see mostly in the developed countries. Got it? So once again we will revise. So malnutrition means we have seen three cases in this. One is kwashiorkor, the other is marasmus, and the third one is obesity. This is due to protein deficiency, this is due to protein and calorie deficiency, and this is due to overeating. And next, there is a fact, okay. So here you can see a picture of a very lean child, very weak. So this condition we can notice in Somalia. People are dying because they don't have much to eat, and contrast to it, you can see the other case, that is in some countries people are dying because they are eating too much. Yes, they are quite opposite, contrast to each other, right? One is dying out of hunger and one is overeating. And in malnutrition you can see different forms. One is stunting, okay. In stunting, the people will be short for their age, too short for their age, and second is wasting. People are too thin for their height, okay, you can see he is very thin. And third is obesity, people are overweight. And next, coming to the next topic, that is healthy food habits. In this healthy food habits, you can see here the first healthy food habit is consume whole grains. You need to eat whole grains. Second is consume leafy veggies. Take as much of leafy veggies as a part of your diet, at least one in your diet, one variety in your diet. Next, always have breakfast. Don't skip your breakfast. Have a healthy breakfast. Drink lots of water. At least minimum 2 to 3 liters of water you need to drink to remove the toxins from the body. Next, say no to junk food. Eat protein rich food, okay. So the summary is, definition of food we have seen, that is any nourishing substance which is taken into the body is known as food. Food components, we have seen carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, refuges and water under food components. Balanced diet versus junk food. Balanced diet is always healthy, whereas junk food deteriorates our health. Malnutrition, we have seen three types, that is kwashiorkor, marasmus, obesity. Good food habits, we have learned few good food habits, right? Next, is nutritious food affordable to everyone? Yes or no? Yes, definitely. It doesn't mean that nutritious food or healthy food means only the rich people should have it and the poor people cannot have it. No, it is affordable to everyone, okay. So these are the cheap foods that you are actually good at, all the nutrients. that is vegetables, leafy vegetables, fruits, which everyone can afford in their daily life. And this is a chart of menu followed in the social welfare institutions where balanced diet is provided for the children. Okay, here in the morning they will be having suppose chapati and curry, and they are provided with milk. In the afternoon they will be having rice, dal, curry, egg, ghee, curd, and evening they will be having snacks like sprouts, and at night, that is in the dinner, again they will be having rice, dal, okay, curd, curry. So all these are very cheap, and also they are having balanced diet. So in these educational institutions, okay, they are providing a balanced diet, and even in between they are given fruits also. Every day they are given fruits. So here you can say balanced diet is not it doesn't cost much, okay, it is affordable to everyone. And here the students who are studying in these residential institutions of social welfare, they will be following this menu every day, and they maintain their health, they are good at all the competitions, and they top the whatever the competitions they participate. So the basic the power behind this is they are having good diet in their food, like they are having balanced diet every day. So this is a picture of the students having their lunch in the social welfare institutions. Next, coming to Arogya Lakshmi program, and this is launched by our Honorable CM Kalvakundla Chandrasekhar Rao Garu on January 1st, 2015, and this is a nutritional program for the pregnant women, okay, lactating women and children below 6 years to provide one meal, full meal, which is healthy, balanced, okay, which is healthy and balanced through Anganwadi centers. So the mother is taken care of, the children below 6 years are taken care of, and the mother is given food, iron tablets, and frequent checkups and monitoring by the doctors, and children not to face malnutrition, they are given healthy food. So overall, to reduce mortality rate and in maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate, this program is launched by the government. You can see here meals, and they are given tablets, weight monitoring, counseling by the doctors, and last but not the least, project work. So in the project work, the first one is, what are the adulterants added to the food in the market today? How does it affect our body? The first question. Second question is, make a collage on various food preservation methods practiced at your home. So these are the questions. The first question you can see about the food adulterants, and second is about the food preservation methods. Collage means taking the pics of various methods and posting on a board is known as collage. Like we do in the school in the notice board, right? We collect all the pictures of an event and paste it on the board. In that way, you need to collect regarding the food preservation methods your mom practice at your home. Got it? Okay, thank you.